Hey guys, this is Zach, and welcome to my first Napoleon Total War video. Today we're doing a 2v2. We have the armies of Prussia and England, and we'll be fighting the armies of the Ottoman Empire and France today. This game is a no artillery game. My army that I'm working with, I have 4 Silesian Schutzen. For my 4 skirmisher units, or 4 skirmishing units. I have 5 musketeers. Let's see if I can find them. There we go. I'm pushing them up right now. We have 5 musketeer units. We have 3 foot guards following. We have a 1st Eastern Prussian Grenadier Battalion. We have 2 hussars in our cavalry. We have 1 cuirassier, and then we have 1. Last but not least, Luitzo Freikorps in the cavalry. So we have 4 cavalry units, and then of course my general unit. And what's happening is right now is my allies, the English army, is pushing up towards the right side of the map to take the center area over here, as you can see. And immediately the Ottoman Empire saw this, so he's moving up to push to go meet the threat. And to get there, they're going to have to push through some swampy lands to get there. So they're pushing up. Meanwhile, I noticed the threat of the French army trying to push up through this way, not only to support his friend and flanking the British over here, but he was literally rushing his entire army, trying to get through these swampy grasslands, and if he would have gone through there, he would have attacked my ally right over here. They're completely vulnerable. So I am getting over here to try to march my men into position as fast as I can. And as you can see, the Prussian army is still pretty far back right now. But this is where things get pretty hairy. So I'm pushing my cavalry up through these woods right now. And they're going to start scrimmaging with the general unit of France. So all I'm thinking is right now is I'm trying to use my cavalry to try to push back his army, because they're all so amassed right here trying to cross this river. And as you can see, from my standpoint of the battlefield, I'm setting up my Prussians as fast as I can, my firing lines. I'm trying to stop this French army from moving anywhere more this way to attack my British friend. And you can see here, he already had an attachment force that was able to get up to him. So the English is going to fight valiantly for a while here against France and the Ottoman Empire, but meanwhile I am holding off this giant amass of troops here. So luckily I was able to get my lines up with my foot guards. And once that was set, I started charging in with my cavalry here. And all I'm trying to do, I'm trying to break them while they're all amassed like this. And as this is all happening, my Prussian soldiers are standing in line strongly. We're actually firing shots in the backs of my cavalrymen there, unfortunately. But right now, they're actually trying to push back the old guard. And that's one of the hardest units to fight in this game. So over here on the complete right side of the field, it's pretty interesting. We have the British army here ready to fire in a linear warfare combat. On the right flank, there's some kind of giant cavalry scrimmage that I completely just missed. But it looks like he's trying to swarm the field now on this right side. The Ottomans are slowly pushing up. I don't think they want to totally engage the English until they know they can have the support of the French. Which, it's completely chaotic in these forests, these woods right now. I have my Grenadier Battalion right here, right behind my foot guards. And unfortunately we did lose the first line of musketeers there. They're gonna break. But luckily we have more elite troops in these brushes, these thick brushes. We're fighting those French troops off. Over here, some deadly hand-to-hand combat's going to engage with the old guard. And that's the complete left flank. And we're going to continue going down the battlefield now. There's a minor cavalry scrimmage happening right here. We're going to look at the English army. He's repositioning himself to meet the Ottoman threat. The Nazim 1 credit infantry are going to continue to push up on the left flank over here. And we're going to, and our English ally is going to continue to reposition his main firing line. Really, it just depends on what happens on this side of the field in these woods here. And more, I started pushing up my Prussian army. At this point, I have my entire army across the river. I'm sending in the last of my reserves right here. And it's, for me, it's all about stopping the French threat right here. So I am trying to make flanking positions with the Prussian army. And we're trying to continue to push back the French dead. At this point, we have actually pushed back most of the French army. Over here, they continue to fight. The Prussians will not give out the ground. They will stay and they will defend this brush, this thick woods. They stood strong. Because I was able to stop the French over here, I was able to start pushing my army more right now to try and support the British army. And that's actually kind of funny. It's kind of interesting seeing the English and the Prussians allied with each other, because that's something that you would have actually seen at the Battle of Waterloo, other multiple battles, Napoleonic era. Fighting against France, actually. So here we go. Now that the main French threat has been eliminated, we've pushed them back across the river. I started redirecting my army to the right side now. It's actually interesting. I tried to get most of the army while it was in the river, but unfortunately most of the killing happened around in the brushes, really, and where most of the deadly combat happened. But now I'm going to start redirecting my army, though. I am going to worry about this French detachment that still is healthy and well, pushing up on the right side flank here. We have the strategic advantage. We are on the high ground, completely outflanking them over here. Here's what's left of my foot guards after fighting in those deadly woods. So I'm going to redirect them right here. We're going to watch them volley and flank into the oncoming French combat. French lines. Yep, and it's just not doing good for the morale of the French Fusiliers. They are dropping fast. They are fighting a very strong line of Prussian and English troops. On the right side over here, the Ottoman Empire is going to begin to engage the English army a bit. Now, one thing I'll say is, in this game, England does have very well-trained troops. They'll say that back in the day as well. They had one of those professional, highly trained armies. Had a huge empire, extended very largely around the world. So these two armies are going to exchange shots with each other for a while. Now, although we do have the high ground advantage on this side, the Ottomans will take advantage of the trees. Now, on the left side over here, I am still pushing up. I'm trying to take advantage of longer lines here versus taking advantage of all my guns, firing all men into their men. So this French battalion is going to dig deep here, but slowly we're going to watch them crumble. And since that's going to happen, I'm going to need my men over here on the left side less and less. I will continuously I'll have more and more reserves to be able to move up here now. Especially cavalry. Actually, one thing I did do here, we'll watch these guys. I immediately saw the Ottoman swords charging on our flank corner right here. So I pulled a Rome total war tactic. I got my cavalry around their men. I charged right into them. And we hammered. Unfortunately, we were not able to save those English troops. My cuirassiers were able to push back the Ottomans long enough for men to start coming to fill that gap. Both sides are taking heavy casualties here in this heavy exchange of fire. Here's the 42nd Foot, the Black Watch. That is an awesome sight. We're going to go down the line. Regular foot soldiers. They will exchange fire with these Ottoman cadet infantry. It actually looks like the English are taking way heavier casualties, and that's probably because of the bush that these men are using down here. So unfortunately, yeah, you can see here the British are just barely hanging on. On the left side here, I was able to keep my Prussian line strong. I have a whole block of men here. I'm going to start rushing into the battle. It's becoming more and more evident that the French threat is becoming less and less. And I'm going to have to deal with the Ottoman Empire here soon, as the British army degrades and degrades. So they are going to push back finally. They're going to decide that the fighting in that open field was not for them. There was definitely a large loss of life there for the English Empire. And although we will fall back, it looks like the Ottomans are going to keep their ground in the trees, the safety of the trees. Meanwhile, on the left flank, as the French threat is gone, I'm going to reposition my men here a little bit. Meanwhile, I have my general standing tall up on the hill. Our feathered hero, right next to the English general staff. So he is going to charge here with Siphi cavalry. Very heavy spearmen. They're going to charge right into the Highland Foot, actually. And they were not able to catch that. They were not able to go in square formation. We now have cadet light infantry firing on our right side over here. And at this point, it's almost as if we started the battle defending this river area. Then we became way more aggressive, pushing in towards this way. But at this point, it did start to become a bit more defensive of a game. We had the high ground here, but the Ottomans were really well dug into this position right here. They had the advantage of disappearing as well. So we did start to get kind of desperate here. And I do have my musketeers here lining up to finish off what's left of some of the French infantry. Here's some of the last of them, the brave. They will take heavy flanking fire from our musketeers. This is actually a formation you usually would not want to use. But we're working on changing that right now. So we are watching heavily right here. He still has more Siphi cavalry, and these guys are deadly. At this point in the battle, both armies are badly battered. The French army has been completely decimated at this point. And things come to kind of a standstill here. We kind of have this no man's land in between right now. And here we go. So he's going to send in his cavalry. They do take some heavy shots. Unfortunately, I did miss this. And this was a heavy blow to our forces of what we had left. They totally smashed right into our lines. I took advantage of this. I attacked immediately with my general. And this is all happening right in the center of our lines, what's left, basically. And throughout all this chaos, I actually did find a really good opportunity. And I'll show you guys that in a second. Putting in my general unit was able to stop this attack. But not only that, amidst this, I took advantage of it. I took my general unit, and I actually charged in, made a counterattack. We're gonna follow this. And the Ottomans don't have much left either, but one thing that they did have was a lot of light infantry. And I went in and took out their light infantry. This is the Hussars. I was able to take them and snipe them out, leaving us quite a bit of men left on this hill here. Unfortunately, we did have our heroic death finally over here. So what's going to happen next here? England is going to move in eventually here. They're going to want their round 2 against the Ottomans. This time, however, I'm going to be able to help them out with whatever I have left, at least. And our final linear warfare battle will ensue here on this battlefield today. So he's going to move in this way. I'm going to take what's left of my general unit. I'm going to try to take advantage, tack in here. Everyone in my general staff died. Like heroes. These men probably ran out of ammo, so he suicide charged them in, and they're going to be gone out of here now. So as you can see here, we're kind of starting to take this like L formation around the enemy. They're really going to take this defensive position in this clop of trees here. And the English army is going to want to push in through this way. If you follow my mouse. I'm going to follow in through this way. Matter of fact, I'm going to want to try to go around the enemy as much as possible in this final attack here. And I will say, although we have the winning advantage here right now, things are going to get really, really close here at the end. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, we could have lost this battle. So I am sending men here, and although they're in a really bad position, we are going to take heavy casualties from those Ottoman shots. But the main reason I'm sending them in here right now is support for the English lines for the round 2 against the enemy. And here's the Black Watch, still standing strong, although they're down to 22 men. Unfortunately, they do have the high ground, but slowly, as you can see here, I'm trying to wrap around them more and more and more. And the more I can wrap around them, the better I can get on their flanks. So I'm going to move these guys even more around them. So much so that it's going to be overwhelming for them. Unfortunately, the English are going to take heavy casualties in taking the Ottomans over here. The Ottomans will continue to fire at the oncoming English threat. And I will say, unfortunately, the English would have taken a lot of casualties at this point. So they are weakening fast, and that's actually what's starting to worry me. I want to try to take out their flank before they take out my ally here. Because if they were able to take out the English fast enough, they would be able to outmaneuver my right flank here. Because at this point, I have no right flank. I am putting all bets off to the side. I am rushing everyone I have left to the left flank over here. I really don't have much of an army left. We'll watch my musketeers face off these Bilik Janissary musketeers. And they're going to charge right into us. They're going to hope to push them back. That's a last charge, desperate attack attempt to destroy the last of our lines. And although we are going to be able to stop them, we are going to get great flanking fire here. I'm going to move my men up here to finally fire down on the lines of the still heavily populated Ottoman Empire army. Ottoman Empire army, yeah. The English are pushing up here, the charge, the Black Watch. They are valiantly trying to push up here. I am pushing my forces up. Luckily, my flanking forces are giving them enough casualties. Some of the final fighting is going to happen here. My foot guards, although outnumbered, are going to take on these Nazim credit infantry. Backed by these cavalry. Luckily, though, someone was able to finally catch a square. And we are going to take shots at some of these last remaining Ottomans. And over here, the English are going to face off against these Ottomans. Like I said, guys, everything got super close to the end here. We pretty much fought to the very last man. And here's the very last, the Ottomans in these clumps of trees fighting the English, what's left the English at least. As what's left of the Prussians come up from behind to finish this battle. And the Allied general was just killed. I'm repositioning one of my last units of musketeers here. And there's the Ottomans finally breaking. We finally overtaken them in the trees. Yeah, I gotta say, that was a really tough battle, guys. And that was a really good game, too. Really awesome game. Yeah, so good game to these two opponents. The statistics here. Looks like I deployed about 900 men, almost about 1,000, and I actually had the smallest army. But I killed the most enemy. So that's a cool statistic. Alright guys, thank you for joining my first battle. Join me next time. I got more Dead Frontier videos coming soon. I definitely have more Total War videos coming soon. If you want to see me play any other games, just let me know.